So quietly, Donald Trump has passed more legislation that, he is really, other than the files issue, right? He's been kind of on a pretty good win streak. Yes, the files were bad. Yes, the Iran stuff was bad. The Iran stuff didn't really spin it up into anything, far worse than, not like the worst case scenario. The files thing, it seems like things are moving. He, again, praised Operation Warp Speed the other day, which was a little bit weird. But I mean, this is Trump. No president is going to be 100%. And I would say in my lifetime, he's already done more by August in just his first year. Whether it's the immigration crackdown, it's the tariffs, it's the business dealings. Hopefully he's going to, I'm told he's meeting, I guess, in person with Ukraine and Russia, I think next week. Let's get that stupid war over that the American people keep paying for. But now he has addressed one of America's kind of darkest forms of cancel culture, and that is debanking. It's something that happened to Trump himself, but also American citizens, people in the crypto industry, and a whole lot of other people. In Canada, it happened to people behind like the truckers boycott, all sorts of stuff. So let's get into that after a really quick word from this video sponsor, Aura. If you want to see something crazy, literally just Google your name. Is your address blurred out? Nope. It's probably there. You're probably surprised just how much information of yours is actually out there. Your phone number, your address, any of that kind of stuff. Well, you could pretty much Google anyone or anything and find all sorts of private information like that out there. These sites are run by data brokers who collect your personal information, package it up, and sell it to anyone who wants it. And usually that's scammers and spammers. So you get those phone calls or spam emails and stuff like that. These guys are printing money, and it's completely illegal in America. Brokers are legally required to remove your info if you ask them, but they make it extremely difficult. That's why you can do what I do. Use this video sponsor, Aura. Aura identifies data brokers exposing your information and submit opt-out requests on your behalf. Give Aura just a few weeks, and you'll stop seeing your information on these sketchy websites when you search for yourself. Aura will also continuously monitor the dark web and alert you if they find your personal information. And they're going to let you know fast if anyone tries to use that information to access your credit or bank accounts. Plus, they give you $5 million in identity theft insurance should the worst case happen. They also have a world-class VPN that lets you browse and shop safely from any location you choose. You can go to my link in the description.com or .com/thecoordinator to try 14 days for free. That'll be enough time for Aura to find which data brokers are selling your information and start submitting opt-out requests on your behalf. It's definitely something you want to do today or over the weekend. Now let's go to Trump's debanking legislation. President Trump has signed an executive order banning banks from debanking Americans over their political beliefs. So who are these people that have been done that way? Well, Michael Knowles, apparently. People like Nick Fuentes. People in the crypto space, a lot of Trump backers, things of that nature. What is debanking? Well, let's talk about what Trump says. Trump claims that banks discriminate against conservatives through debanking. Here's what that means. Well, we know that they do. This is not even up for debate. President Trump on Tuesday claimed that major banks are discriminating against conservatives, including him, through the act of debanking or when financial institutions refuse to work with some individuals or businesses or abruptly close clients' accounts. Mr. Trump made the comment in an interview with CNBC on Tuesday after he was asked about a report by the Wall Street Journal that he would soon sign an executive order aimed at stamping out debanking. Mr. Trump claimed that JP Morgan Chase gave him 20 days to close his account, although he did not specify when this occurred or what the reason was given by the bank for doing so. He also claimed that the Bank of America refused his business after he left JP Morgan. The issue of debanking has become a sticking point for some conservatives who claim that they've been unfairly targeted by financial institutions. Debanking can occur for a number of reasons, such as if a financial institution detects potentially fraudulent activity or if the account owner is overdrawn. But some conservatives claim they've been rejected due to their political views. This is not up for debate. This is something that absolutely, positively has happened. They discriminated against many conservatives, the president told CNBC. Bank of America CEO Brian Moynihan rejected such claims of bias against conservatives in a recent interview on CBS. Face the Nation with Margaret Brennan that took place ahead of Trump's comments on CNBC. Moynihan pointed that the nation's second largest bank's massive customer base as evidence of its diverse clientele. He also emphasized the impact of federal regulations, in addition to concerns over legal and financial risk on banking decisions. That's nonsense. We know for a fact that they debanked conservatives. Like, this is not up for debate. Obviously, I know Canada's not America for now, but we know they did this to the truckers. We know they did this to J6ers in America, that we believe, that they believe, that they believe, many believe, sorry, I got off track there. Many believe we're, over prosecuted. I believe that. As Senate hearing in February over the issue, Senator Tim Scott, a Republican from South Carolina, said debanking harms individuals as well as the economy. It violates the principles of fair market access. Debanking has also been highlighted by some crypto investors, such as the CEO of crypto platform Anchorage Digital, who testified in Senate hearing that his bank had closed his company's account on short notice because they weren't comfortable with crypto transactions. Now, here's the thing. I mean, I think businesses have, the right to, the right to turn away business if they want. The problem is, once you have a virtual monopoly, which is what all the big banks in this country have, it becomes very, very different, a very, very different thing, right? Because they can just go after, one or two people. Maybe you run a business they don't like. Maybe they're anti-2A and you have a 2A related business and they don't want all of that kind of stuff. Again, it's not as big a deal if there's many options. But the problem is there aren't that many options. JP Morgan and Bank of America, they did debank Trump under pressure from the Biden administration over J6. So this nonsense that JP Morgan and Bank of America came out and said, no, we've never done that. They absolutely have. And what I think we started to see over the past couple of weeks that we absolutely have to give Trump some credit for is that he is starting to go after some of his biggest critics. Right now, the Justice Department has now subpoenaed Letitia James. Letitia James, we know they're looking into her mortgage nonsense. But between Letitia James and Alvin Bragg, and was it Juan Merchan or whatever, and was it Juan Merchan? I forget all these corrupt judges that they have in New York. Alvin Bragg bent the law, in my opinion, ignored the law in terms of, what they said was going to be, Trump's statute of limitations, just so they could prosecute him. They packaged a bunch of different nonsense. They told the jury, they kind of led the jury to try and get them to, to convict him, all this kind of nonsense that happened. Miss James, New York's Attorney General, won a civil fraud case against President Trump on that is now on appeal. One of the two subpoenas is related to that case. The U.S. Attorney in Albany has issued two broad subpoenas to Attorney General Letitia James of New York, one related to her office's civil fraud case against President Trump, according to three people with knowledge of the matter. The second subpoena is related to another of the office's long-running cases against the NRA. Ms. James has been one of Trump's fiercest adversaries since she first ran for Attorney General in 2018. In 2022, she sued him, accusing him of fraudulently overvaluing his assets by billions of dollars. We now know that there were 0 victims in that case. Everyone was repaid. This is the same thing that Jon Stewart, darling of the left, had done, yet they didn't seem to have a problem, or, Letitia James wasn't interested in prosecuting him. Miss James also, her personal lawyer, Abe Loyal, called any investigation into Trump's fraud case the most blatant and desperate example of this administration carrying out the presidential's political retribution campaign. Can I say something that may be a little bit of a hot take? Maybe consider leaving a like on the video if you agree. I don't care. I do not care. I want Trump to carry out a political retribution campaign. I want Trump to go after all of these lunatics that went after him. That's what I want. I absolutely want that. I want him to not forget about those dorks who tried to put together a RICO case in Florida against him. I want him to go after Letitia James. I want him to go after Alvin Bragg. I want him to get retribution. I think most Trump voters probably agree. The subpoenas appear unrelated to a case involving Ms. James's personal real estate transactions, which are also being investigated, where she allegedly falsely claimed to have residency in multiple states at once, probably to take advantage of, certain things, certain benefits or whatever. The existence of that case was publicly confirmed earlier this year by FBI Director Kash Patel, and it's unclear how that's progressed. Now, I will tell you this, okay? I want jail. I want convictions. I understand that a lot of people are still waiting for literally anything to happen, right? Literally, the nothing ever happens camp is absolutely real, but it does seem at least like the wheels of justice are turning. And so we have to kind of give a little bit, we have to be a little encouraged, right? At least something's happening. I mean, this is what I voted for. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.